Godot 4.5 has finally released, which means we can finally look at my favorite feature of 4.5, which was experimental up until now, but the video player now has seek functionality. You can now seek and scrub forward and backward and whatever you want in the videos, and I think that's awesome. It opens up so many doors for games, right? But before you start just importing random video files, it's not going to work because Godot can only read OGV files. It's like an OGG, but it's a video. So using FFmpeg, I'm going to show you a really quick way to prepare all of your files super easy for Godot. So to convert them into an OGV from whatever format they are. Now, if you have Handbrake or Premiere or whatever and you prefer to do it that way, do it. But this way we can scale it and it's basically command line. It's super duper easy, right? So instead of downloading straight away, and if you're already an FFmpeg head, you might not know that the 64-bit version can't convert over to OGVs properly. It just completely destroys the video, right? So you're going to need to download the 32-bit version. So I'll put a link to where you can get these down in the description. But pretty much you're going to want to download the LGPL file just in case, and there's no reason to get the GPL file. It just helps with licensing if you ever want to package it up with a bit of software or a game or whatever in the future. So this one here, the FFmpeg Master Latest Win32 LGPL.zip is the one that I would download. And once you extract it into a folder, what I'm going to also get you to do is copy over a test bit of footage that you can convert over to OGV. So I'm just going to show you what it is. It's from the new Skate game. It's just me parkouring around. I wanted to find something that, was pretty legible from start to finish. Not too quick, so you can tell when I'm going backwards and forwards. So now that we've got our FFmpeg, FFplay, and FFprobe, not that we need those other two in the folder, we can either click up here and then type CMD. And then it's going to come up with a command window. I'll just make that a little bit bigger so you can see that on the screen. And then what we're going to do is go ffmpeg.exe and then go -i. And then we're going to hit S and then hit the tab button. And it's going to come up with the, whatever video you've got in there. For me, it's the skate video, right? And then I'm just going to type output.ogv and hit enter. And now what you're going to see from this is actually going to be quite low quality because we haven't set any parameters up for what we want the quality to look like, right? Cool, so now that it's done, we're going to have a look at it. And like I said, it's probably going to be really bad quality. Yeah, we want something a little bit better than that. So what we're going to do is add in some parameters. So if you don't know anything about FFmpeg, you're about to learn just a little bit. So then what we can do is we can go back to this stack exchange and then we can steal this guy's quality settings. Fantastic. And now we just got to go back to our command and we want to put it before the output but after the input. So the -i is input, right? So then we just copy that from before and then right click there, space, make sure everything's spaced out properly, and then we hit enter and it's going to ask us if we want to overwrite. You want to hit Y and then enter. Now we can see the bitrate is ridiculously high now. I'm pretty sure that's because this number here is 10 and this one here is 10. I think if you turn that down, we might get better quality. Or up, I'm not sure. Cool, so now that it's done, we're going to go have a look at it. Look, it's 61 megabytes, so it's actually increased in size. Now we can play around with those settings a little bit, and actually I might. So by changing that 10 to a 1, we've gone back down to a really low bit rate. So I'm going to stop that. Control C, and then I'm going to go up. And then instead of using 1, I'm going to go 5. So by any logic, this should get up to about 7 or 8. Yeah, something like that. 10. Not sure. So a lot of encoding going on. The better your video card, I think the faster this goes. You can get like CUDA versions of FFmpeg as well. And then you can put a hardware accelerate parameter in there too. Make it go faster. So look, we're at like 13 megabytes. We'll see what that looks like because this is going to be nice and appropriate for our game engine. So we'll go with quality 5. Speaking of game engine, let's load up Godot. Make sure it's 4.5 stable. 4.5 has been out for a while, but not stable. So I'm going to create a folder called videos, and then we're going to drag output.ogb. We're going to call that skatevid first. We're going to drag that over into videos. We're going to delete all these nodes here. We're going to Control A to add. Go video stream player. I'm just going to make that the full size of the viewport. And then we're going to take that video. We're going to go skate vid. We're going to slap it in there. And then hold on, we might need to do this again because it looks like the size. No, here we go. So we want to hit expand, which is also going to contract for us because obviously this isn't the size of the size of the screen is less than the resolution of the video. So if we look at window here, whatever that is there, we just changed it over to 1920 by 1080. It's probably still not going to be the same size, but oh yeah, so okay, it was recorded at 1080p. Awesome. Also, you can change the master here because with these videos, you're going to hear it regardless of where it is in 3D space. And I'll show you what I mean by that. But first, we're going to hit autoplay on this. And then we're going to hit F5, select current. Yep. And then we're going to see what it looks like. Let's go. So obviously, if I resize this window, the video is going to get resized as well. Because we've got that, what's it called? Expand, right? So if we were to turn that off, obviously it would just stay as like a little, you know, little window of whatever's inside there. Just sort of windowing whatever's in there. So we're just going to quickly set up a seek system. So I'm going to go to the input map, seek back, seek forward. We won't go FWD forward. We may as well type the entire word out. I prefer to just do the entire word. So seek back is going to be left on the keyboard, and seek forward is going to be right. We may as well have a pause. Pause play. In fact, we'll just call it play. And then we'll set up the pause later, which is going to be the space bar. All right, now that we have those actions, we can set up a interaction on the root nodes. So we're just going to go main scene.gd. Yep, we'll create the script. And then, okay, that's not useful at all. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. And now we're going to get this reference to the video stream player by dragging it in, holding control. Now once we've got it, we're going to go func. What do we want? Ready? Do we want process? No, we want func input, right? If event is event input event. Yeah, input event key. If input dot is action just pressed, seek back, and then we'll do another one for seek forward. So it's Alt Control down to do that. Forward. Cool. And then what I can do is hold Alt and then click. So I'm doing that in two places at once. I'll pass it. Change this one to an elif. All right. And then what we need to do is we've got to figure out where the video stream is, right? Cool. So what we're going to do is just go var stream pos, which would probably be a float. It's going to equal get stream position, video stream player dot get stream They not have an autofill for this yet. Interesting. Get stream position. We'll just double check that exists. It definitely exists. Look, it's right here in the documentation. Okay, so get stream position, right? So then what we want to do is go set stream position. We want to set that to stream pos plus equals 0.1, 0.5, right? So we'll just see what happens. Assignment not allowed inside expression. Okay, I just do that. Alright, it's because of the plus equals. What am I doing? Right, now if we just run that, we'll see if that works, yeah? And we're going to crash it. We're going to crash it. Yeah, mustn't really like that. So maybe we'll change that to 1 second. There we go. So it is working. It just wasn't meant to be moved around like this. There we go. We're able to seek. We're able to seek back and forward. Oh, I got my polarities the wrong way around. This should be a negative and this one should be a positive. I've also changed the buffering milliseconds to 1, and then I've just added this video stream play.paused to true, true, and then false here. I'm not sure how well this is all going to work, but we're going to have a look at it. So see, we can skip forward a little bit. We're hitting right. Cool. So at 0.5, that's not really super helpful. I think this video is about 9 seconds long, so we don't really have too much space to play with. But you see, we can seek forward in the video when I hit right, and then we can go back through the video when I hit left. Cool. Awesome. Like I said, it's not super smooth, but it works. Now, the main benefit of this, I think, is being able to put videos in random positions, right? I'll show you how to do that. So if we just want to turn all of this off, we'll select it all and hit Control K. And then we can go func ready, and then go video stream player dot set stream position, and then we'll go yeah, we want to use rand f range. Yep, from 0 to, also we're going to need to do that, to video stream player dot get stream length. Bam. So rand f range, that's going to give us a random position, and just so we can see what that is, rand pos float, we're going to add that there just so we can have it on a different little spot like that, right? Expected 1, but 0. Shush. Okay, rand pause. There we go. And now when we play the game, it'll be set at a random position, right? So do that again. Do that again. Random position each time, right? Which I think is pretty cool. So if you've got multiple of these things set up, it'd be really easy to do that. So what I mean by the audio is going to trip you up is because it's not in 3D space, right? And I don't think at the moment there is a way to make it in 3D space unless you can take the buffer from one stream and send it to another, a generator and another audio stream player, right? But I'm not sure how you would even do that. So if we wanted it to be in 3D, we'd change this root node to a node 3D, right? We can add a mesh instance 3D, and we're going to make that a quad. We're going to make that 1.6 by 0.9. So we get the 16:9 resolution, right? Then we're going to add a material, a new standard material. Yeah, we're going to go to the albedo. We're going to go viewport texture. Now, if you know, you ever try to do this before, it always comes up with this. It took me a long time to figure this out. I don't know why, but you just go to resource and hit local to scene. So we're going to go back up to texture, set it to viewport texture. And now what we can do is we can actually make that SubViewport. So we're going to go Control A on the root node, type SubViewport. We're going to bring that video stream player in there. And now very important, we're going to need to set this SubViewport resolution. Otherwise, what it's going to do is it's going to squish the video and then it's going to re-stretch it. So it's actually going to be stretching a square video on this rectangle. So it's going to take a rectangle, squish it, and then it's going to re-stretch it to this. So what we've got to do in the SubViewport is now change it to 1920 by 1080. All right, so we get that resolution the same as the video. And then we're going to go to this video for the video stream player here, and then actually make sure that we're in the full boundary of that SubViewport again. And now we're not going to be able to see it until we set this mesh viewport texture viewport path to the SubViewport. So once we do that, you can see we've got a gray screen. Now we're not going to be able to fly around in this game just yet. So what we need to do is add a camera 3D, and then we're going to make it current. And then what we can do is we can set the position around where we want. So we're going to have a little bit of an angle on it, just so you can see that it's a 3D plane. We're going to go Control Alt M, and then whatever you've got selected is going to move to the camera position when you do that. So if you click on this TV, whatever you want to call it, Control Alt M, it's going to move to the camera. So don't do that, right? What you want to do is only be doing that with the camera. Control Alt M. You can see up here the image changes. So I'm going to do it here. I'm going to play around this FOV to get a little bit of a nicer picture, and then I'm going to move it right so it's into position. Now another tip here is if you're trying to move it off axis and you want to just move it back and forward depending on where it's looking, just hit T, go to the local transformation, and we can move it along its local plane, and then we hit T just to go back to the global plane. So now that this is here working, we're going to hit F5 to see if we can see anything. All right, hold on, get stream link on a null value. What's this? All right, so we've actually moved the reference to video stream player. It's not just attached to the root node now, it's part of the SubViewport. So we're going to just grab it, select this, and then drag it over, hold control, and then let go. So it replaces the video stream player's reference with the new node path. Now, if we watch it, we can see we're watching the video in 3D, just like we were before, except in 3D. So what we can do with that is go over to the mesh, and you see on this side it's actually not going to display it. So I'm going to go to shading. No, you go cull mode and then go disabled. So it's actually going to show it on both sides. Now, one thing we've got to do is add light to it. So I don't really want to add a spotlight or an omni light or anything like that, because the effect isn't really going to be solid. So if I run this, it will work, right? But it's a really cheap and dirty method to do like lighting with these things. So I'm going to delete it, and instead I'm going to go to this mesh instance where we've got this albedo texture, and then I'm going to go to emission, turn it on. Man, this is weird with new 4.5. And then I'm going to drag this albedo texture to the emission texture. Bam. And now whatever's displaying on the screen will be emitting from the screen itself. So remember, we've got no light in here. So no light whatsoever. And then inside a dark room, we can have a lit up screen. So I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm just going to create a small little world with an environment. I'll just put a CSG texture on the ground. I've had to move everything up a little bit. Sorry, a CSG box, not a CSG texture. Just something for the ground, right? I know how much I love my concrete texture, so I'm just going to bring that in from outside and apply that to this CSG box. And then obviously we'll go into the created texture. We're going to go to the UV1 and make it triplanar. Make it triplanar world. And then as we zoom in, we'll see that the texture has actually increased in quality, it looks like, and well, increased in density, right? So I'm going to go 0.25, go to the sampling and switch that over to nearest bitmap anisotropic. So now when we run it, we're going to see, well, a dark background, right? And then also this video stream player, we need to make sure that this is looping, right? Because what you're going to see is, yeah, it's going to loop when it gets to the end of whatever it's trying to do, right? And so if we wanted to bring those keys back in, we could uncomment all of this out, right? And then we could even seek in 3D, right? Isn't that pretty cool? So is what I was saying about not being able to have like a positional audio in 2D or 3D is you're going to be hearing what you hear from the video. So, I mean, it might just do you good to not have any audio from these videos because it's going to play regardless of where you are. So if you have a whole bunch of these up all over the place, you're going to hear the audio from all of them stacked up on top of each other, right? So if I was to copy this video stream player, right, a whole bunch of them, then we would get a whole bunch of audio. But if I'm just copying this mesh instance a whole buttload of times, jeez, and then wait, where's the camera? Oh, so the camera's facing that way. Look, if we just have a whole bunch of these littered all over the... Actually, no, before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to make this screen spin. So I'm going to add another thing real quick. Screen. Right, we're just going to change the name to screen mesh. And then we're going to add a bit of code. And then what this is going to do is on the physics process... On the physics process, it's going to spin. So it's rotation dot y plus equals delta times 3. Let's go 5. And then if rotation degrees dot y is greater than 360, we're just going to take away the rotation degree, take 360 away from the rotation degree. So that just ensures that we're not going to blow out any values over time, right? And because we're plussing, we check to make sure that it's not over 360, right? And we do this in a way where it's not going to be weird. So this screen mesh as well, we may as well turn on the physics interpolation on, and then we'll go to the project settings. We can go interpolation, physics interpolation. We can turn that on, and then we have to turn down the physics jitter. And then what this should do is it should make these screens all spin around 360 degrees. Okay, so maybe 5 was too fast. We'll change that to 1. That's right, we can see these spinning around. So then if we want to make duplicates, right, then we can make duplicates. But now we've got a whole bunch of things with the same bit of code on them. So remember, when we start duplicating stuff, we're probably better off just creating a new scene. So this is the screen mesh scene. And now when we duplicate it, we're going to have that script be running in there, right? Although, no, this is going to break it now. No, actually, this is going to break it. No. So, okay, here we go. I'll explain why we broke it, right? Because this video stream player now doesn't have a reference to the screen mesh, or the screen mesh is now got its own abstract sort of code where it doesn't actually have a reference. This texture, right? It doesn't have a reference to the viewport because it doesn't exist anymore, right? So what we have to do is this here. Yep. So what we've got to do is in this code, we have to go export SubViewport, and then sub, or what we call it, TV viewport, SubViewport, export var TV viewport, SubViewport. And now what we can do on the screen mesh, we'll get rid of those, is we can bring in the TV viewport, bam, there. So it's an export variable, right? So then this TV viewport, what we've got to do for this screen mesh here is we actually only need to do this one time, I think. Yeah, well, we go on the ready function, func ready, we go material override, what is it, LB? Yeah, okay, so we go var mat standard material 3D equals material override. And then we can go mat, so VP mat. There we go, VP mat dot albedo texture equals TV viewport. It's not going to work, so we have to go, let's have a look. Texture is the viewport texture, so we go viewport path. All right, or we've got to figure out what this is. So we need to break this down into its little bits as well. So we go viewport texture, right? So var VP texture equals, so this is a viewport texture, yep, equals VP mat dot albedo texture. And then the viewport path, right, is the VP texture dot viewport path. Cool, so this is how we get to it. Okay, I was just freaking out for some reason. So we just got to go if TV viewport and then chuck all this out here just so it doesn't freak out when we're running it, right, without a viewport. So there we go. We've got the viewport running on all of these different screens, right? So I'll move the camera to a better spot. What the hell? Yeah, that's better. So we move this camera into a better spot. And then what we can do is we can move these around. We can copy them. Perfect. Now they're going to spin around like a crazy little TV screens they are. Them damn little TV screens. And we're going to do it in quite a performant way. So this is basically a different texture for each one of these screens, right? But it's the same viewport. So it's going to be very performant. I'm not sure how performant. So we'll see. We'll see if this is good or not. I mean, it's not laggy. Because the thing is, it's only one viewport. It's just got a bunch of different screens. So what we really have is different textures. Now, if they were to be at different points in the video, it would be really bad. So don't even think about that, right? But then if we run it and then we use, you see we use our keys to scrub back and forward. See, it is actually scrubbing back and forward. And also, because it's kind of weird, what we can do with the screen mesh is we can go on ready, rotation degree dot y equals rand f range 0 to 359. Just so it doesn't need to spin itself around on the first thing. There we go. Look, we've got like, we're making like grass. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the audio so you can hear what I mean. We've only got one set of audio. Doesn't matter where we are in the scene. So if I was to actually move the camera, you know, 1,000,000 feet away, where is it? A million feet away, it'd just be zoomed in. Yeah? We're still going to hear that audio like we haven't moved. So that's the only problem, right? And like I said, what you really should be using these screens for is not to play back audio, but to only play back video. But now that we've got the stream position, right, we can then kind of do that with an audio thing, right? So I'll show you that real quick. I'm basically going to set up an audio player 3D with the audio from this video and then try and synchronize those two together using the stream position, right? It's going to sound dodgy, but we'll see what it looks like. First of all, I'm just going to delete all of these screens. So we've just got the one left. And then we're going to zoom up on this screen. There we go. So we'll just see what we've got now. Perfect. So I'm going to make it not spin around as well, because as fun as that was, it's kind of annoying. So there we go, perfect. And that's going to be great for what we're trying to do next, right? Which we're actually going to need to add some movement keys in. So I'm going to add move, up, down, left, and right. Left, move, right. Cool. W, A. WSAD, what am I talking about? Cool, so in here with our camera, basically all we're going to do, sorry, not our camera, we're going to add a character body 3D, and then we're going to add code to it. It's going to ask us if we want to use a template, so we're going to go yes, basic movement, and then it's going to create a script for it. So we're going to rename this player. I'm going to click on this camera 3D. We're actually going to turn current off right for now. So over on player, we're going to add, what are we going to add? We need to add a collision shape 3D. So just so we can see what we're looking at. It's a little bit abstract at the moment because you can't really see anything, but we're going to do 0.25, 1.8, and then we're going to go to the transform 0.9, and then I'm going to add a camera 3D. I'm going to go up 1.6 because there's about where I like it. I'm going to move this camera back a little bit. We're going to play and we're going to see what happens. Yep, cool. So this here player needs to be saved as a scene. So I'm going to do that. Just save it as player.scene. Cool, and then we're going to open it up here. Now back in main scene, I'm going to need to grab this box that I created for the ground and then make sure that we've got the collision on. So over on player, we're going to go to our collision. No, what are we going to do? We're going to go collision here. And then turn this to layer 2. So we're on layer 2. I'm just going to go name these now. World and player. And what are we doing? Do we need anything else to interact with? Probably not. So this is just a good way to set everything up. Right? So now, if we go back to player, camera, we'll set this as current. Then if we hit play, we're going to see that we are in the player's perspective. So we need to go to the script for the player. And obviously this here, we didn't use UI, we used the word move. So if we then play, we're going to move around. And see, as I said, there's no spatial audio. There's no 3D audio, but what we're going to do is we're going to try and cheese it. Potentially using signals, but we're going to figure it out. So the first thing that we have to do is go to this video stream player and turn down the volume. We're just going to turn the whole volume down, right? Then we're going to go back over to FFmpeg. We're going to hit up. We're going to hit up so we can get the everything. And instead of having skate 2025 video, we're going to choose, oh damn. So I'm going to hold control while I backspace because it backspaces whole things at the same time. So instead of having our eye as the original skate video, we're going to have our input as the video that we created, the OGV. Right? No, actually, we don't even need to worry about that. Okay, we're just going to use our default. Okay, yeah, the default, just so we don't have like weird problems. And then we're going to output it as an OGG. So skatevid audio.ogg. And then this is going to do it incredibly quick. So over here, we're going to get ready. Man, that's actually not very quick at all. Over here, we're going to get ready for it. The OGG. Damn, bit rates are looking good on that one. Cool, let's have a listen to that. But dude, why does the OGG have video? There we go, that's the one we need. -VN to disable video. So we've got to do that there. In between the input and the output. We're going to override it. See how quick that was? Now that makes more sense. Cool, so we've got the audio, right? Now what we can do, sorry, wrong Godot. We're going to go OGG. I will put it next to videos, whatever. So videos, bam. And now we've got the OGG from that video. Now here's where the trickery becomes tricky. Because this screen mesh, what we're going to have to do is get the video somehow and then put that on that screen mesh. So this video stream player, here we go. So here for the screen mesh, we're actually going to create another export variable and call that the video stream player. And that's going to be a video stream player. Right? So then what we can do, now that we have an export variable, is we can take that video stream player and drag that over into this spot here. Now we've got a reference to that video stream player inside the screen mesh. All right, so we'll go over to the screen mesh, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to add a audio player, audio stream player 3D, and then we're going to get that skate vid audio, and we're going to stick that there, right? So now we've got to think about how often we want to synchronize it, right? Because this screen needs to get synchronized to the audio at some point. So we'll have a look at the signals that we've got first of all. Video stream player dot finished. We've got finished. Oh, that's not good. Video stream player. All right, let's have a look. Yeah, okay, so we got finished. What about play when we start playing? I guess we can just get the stream position for now and set it. So here we go. We're going to have a look at the screen mesh here, and then we're going to grab a reference to the audio stream player. So and first, we're actually going to call that the video audio player. That's a pretty funny name. Control drag that in. I usually do that below my exports. And then while we're here, we may as well call this class the screen mesh. Right? The TV screen mesh or something like that. We'll just call it screen mesh, whatever. It just means that, like, if we ever need to reference it somewhere, it'll be a lot cleaner. Okay, dot stream position. This is one that we're going to need to use. So if we go video stream player, what about this? Video stream player dot stream position. So we need to go video audio player dot seek to position disposition, right? And then anytime that there's a finished video audio player dot finished dot connect func, right? Seek stream position, bam. Or we got to go seek 0 because that's finished. But then it'll start playing. I guess if it's looping, it's a little bit different, isn't it? So here we can go, we'll connect this to a new function. We'll call this one video finished. And we'll go func video finished. That. And then do that. And then we could go video audio player dot play even. And then really what we need to do is we need to add a timer, and then that timer needs to every now and then make sure it's synchronized something 0.5. We're going to see what this looks like actually, because this is the only dodgy thing that I can imagine happening. As in the audio is going to skip forward or backwards, or like minute, it might play the same thing. I'm not too sure, but we're going to see. So here on sync timer timeout, bam, we're going to put that video audio player seek to the video stream player stream position. And then what we also have to do is actually, we should probably do this deferred, right? So the initial sync func, the initial sync, we'll do that. And then what we can do is we can call defer that. And just to make sure that it's done on the next frame and not on the initial frame, right? Because we don't want this to autoplay, really. Do we want it to autoplay? No, we'll do it here. Video audio player play. Yeah. Because we don't really need to seek there. But here we need to seek. Yeah. And that's only if the video audio player is playing. Video audio. No, sorry. If the video player, video stream player dot is playing. That's when we seek. Else, we'll seek it back to 0. Now here's the thing, like I said, it's probably not going to repeat at the moment, but we'll see what this sounds like. That's pretty good. See, I wonder if the synchronizing is helping, right? Yeah. I guess it's not helping at all. That's actually really cool. Because the auto start's not on for this. I mean, this is the sync timer. It's supposed to help keep it synced. Yeah, you hear that dodgy audio? So I guess if we can avoid this, that'd be better, but we might just have to set this to like a high number, like 5. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I even like that approach. So we can turn this off. We'll pass, but this is pretty good. So the magic really here is that the initial sync is good, and then when the video finishes, it is repeating right here, right? So we don't really need to have that sync, but that there is obviously the beauty in the new version of Godot. Is like, look, if you're doing something where you're actually moving the video around, you can do that, and then you can you know, adapt the audio to what you're actually seeing on screen. So again, just like before, I'm going to duplicate this a whole bunch of times just so we can see what it sounds like stereo. Okay, you can't actually hear that. I gotta remember that you can't hear that unless I hit that play button. See, we hear it go away. We just turn this down so the screen mesh audio player is max distance 5 meters, so we can only hear it when we're kind of close. Also, what I want to do is bring up this whole thing. I'm not sure why I have it down so low. Right, like bring it up like a meter. Maybe like down half a meter. Yeah, there we go. So that looks good. And also, if you're noticing this little line at the bottom, is something that you're not really going to see that well, but it's something that you have to address anytime you make a SubViewport. And I'm not sure why this hasn't been fixed yet, but I think it's down here somewhere. So what that is you've actually got to go to this material, the viewport material, and then you need to go down to sampling and then turn off repeat. And it's going to make everything so much easier for you and your life. It took me a really long time to work that out, so take it as you will. But look, the audio is working. It's restarting. It's 3D. You see that? Isn't that perfect? Absolutely perfect. Alright, well, hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment if you got any use out of it. Come and join the Discord, or come and join Twitch, where we hang out every other day doing game dev. Yeah, just come and support me. I've got a Patreon, etc, etc, etc. You know what to do. Just hit the buttons. All of that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Godot 4.5's out. Come and support me. Come and support the boys. Jump in Discord. And have a hang with the fellas. And let's talk game dev. Thanks, guys.